UW360 is proudly supported by Pacific Office Automation, copy, print, workflow, and IT. Problem solved.
Today on UW360, what happens when a 425-pound silverback gorilla with a severe sinus infection needs surgery? You call the doctor, right? Well, just wait till you see Vip the gorilla's medical team in our special follow-up story. Plus, have you switched to LED lighting yet? You may consider doing so after seeing how a UW startup company is working to make them far more affordable than ever. And did you know the University of Washington has a boxing club? A pretty successful one, too. Those stories and more straight ahead on UW360. Hi everyone, I'm Carolyn Douglas. Welcome to this special edition of UW360, where we revisit some of our most popular stories from the past few years. Beginning with the story of a beloved gorilla named Vip. In August 2014, the Woodland Park Zoo and UW Medicine joined forces to save the life of the massive silverback gorilla. Vip had a terrible sinus infection and desperately needed surgery. Thanks to the UW team, he got it and has since made a full recovery. Today, we revisit the incredible story of the team who made it all happen.
Meet Vip. Vip is a 35-year-old, 435-pound silverback gorilla at the Woodland Park Zoo. As one of the gorilla exhibit's 3 males, he is the head of a family of 4. Father, mate, and protector, he is truly the center of his family. Unfortunately, something seemed to be bothering Vip.
He had a nasal discharge. Not uncommon. People get the same thing. It doesn't mean anything serious always, but it can be an indication of a problem that's developing that's not going to go away without some significant intervention.
Round after round of antibiotics seemed to do nothing for his condition. With no results, the Woodland Park Zoo reached out for help.
At one point, we decided it was time to actually call in the experts, and we called the University of Washington.
With the aid of Dr. Greg Davis from UW Medicine,
we're going to inject a little bit of local. You'll see a bump in his heart rate.
It was determined that Vip had a severe sinus infection and that he needed surgery.
Can I get a Takahashi?
Dr. Davis performed the endoscopic surgery with support from UW Medicine, the Woodland Park Zoo, and several companies that donated equipment.
It's just a nice partnership between corporate America, university, academic centers, and then the zoo.
It was a vortex of generosity and a vortex of opportunity. We didn't really cut any corners to do this procedure. It was the same level of care that a human would have received for the same condition problem.
After 4 hours, Dr. Davis was able to clear out the infection and Vip was headed back to his family.
All right, big guy, you can do it. You can do it, man.
A couple months of medication and a small follow-up surgery later, Vip is breathing easy and feeling like himself again.
At the end of the day, it's just another sinus surgery. It really is. It just happens to be in a different species.
He's socializing. He's attentive to the adult females. He's attentive to his offspring.
But seeing his female group, I mean, they rely on him. They're a total family, and it stresses them out when he's not there. And the fact that he's back and socializing with his women and doing gorilla things, it's great. And there's nothing better. You know, this is one of the fun things about academic medicine, about practicing at UW Medicine. I'll never forget waking up the day of surgery and saying, today I get to go operate on a gorilla. And that was really cool.
Vip is now 37 years old and in great health after an uneventful recovery from his surgery. The zoo would like to collectively thank Dr. Davis and his team for saving Vip's life. And we're also happy to report that in November of 2015, Vip became the proud father of a baby gorilla named Yola. Still ahead on UW 360, the University of Washington has once again topped a prestigious list. We'll show you which one. And from rail to trail, an update on transforming old tracks into miles of walking trails, including one that goes right through the UW Tacoma campus. And the UW boxing team continues to make headlines by capturing another national championship as UW 360 continues.
The following UW 360 story is made possible by the generous support of BECU. BECU, more than just money.
Welcome back to UW 360. The light bulb has been brightening our world since 1879. And we used to have just one option, the standard incandescent bulb. But now LED lighting is dramatically changing how we light our world. LED bulbs are far more efficient. And if two passionate UW professors succeed, they'll soon be much greener and cheaper, too.
Halogen, fluorescent, CFL, LED. With all the options on the market, shopping for lighting these days can be a confusing experience.
This is the standard incandescent lamp, familiar to everyone. This lamp was phased out recently by federal standards.
And on the forefront of this lighting revolution is the LED, or light-emitting diode. Although prices are dropping quickly, LEDs are still more expensive than consumers are used to paying.
Turn it on.
But a pair of researchers is looking into ways to make LEDs cheaper and at the same time greener to produce.
When I turn it on, it's just blue.
Changqing Tu and Ji Hu met as graduate students in electrical engineering at the University of Washington. Together, they formed Lumisands, a company that has developed a way to make an important component of an LED in a much better way.
So you can see the yellow gel thing on top of the LEDs.
The phosphors in an LED illuminate and help control the color of the light you see. Otherwise, the LED would emit a harsh blue light.
When I turned it on, the phosphors will absorb part of the blue and convert it to yellow and red. That's why you perceive white light.
Currently, LEDs on the market contain phosphors made with rare earth elements. These materials are expensive, and the mining process can be hazardous to the environment. Instead, the technology developed by Lumisands uses inexpensive and environmentally friendly silicon to produce phosphors.
It's one of the most abundant materials. It's basically the main component of common sand.
Lumisands is still in the research and development stage, but they hope to have their technology in use on the market within the next few years.
Hopefully one day we'll be able to provide the market with a rare earth-free phosphorus solution for LEDs.
With all of the benefits they provide, the future of LED lighting looks, well, bright.
Every 6 months we have better product, better color rendition, a lower price, and it just keeps on getting better and better. And so the way lighting is in the future is going to look a lot more like LED.
LED lights have come a long way in just a few short years. They're now widely available, will last for thousands of hours, and cost just pennies per day to operate. And those two UW professors say we can expect even greater improvements when their lights hit the market soon. Now we turn our attention to an organization that's been brightening lives for more than 50 years, the Peace Corps. In 2013, the UW was honored for having the most Peace Corps volunteers of any university in the country. It was dethroned by another university a year later. But in a few minutes, we'll update you on the latest rankings. And more importantly, we take a look at how this incredible organization is using compassion and cooperation to transform lives, including the life of the student in this next story.
The willingness of all Americans, men and women, young and old, to serve in the Peace Corps, to serve in all parts of the world, to serve at little pay, do jobs that most of them have never done before, is one of the most encouraging manifestations of the American spirit that this country has seen in many years.
Among schools with more than 15,000 undergraduates, the University of Washington shares the #1 slot with 107 alumni currently serving as Peace Corps volunteers. Congratulations.
The Peace Corps gives us a chance to show a side of our country which is too often submerged. Our desire to live in peace, our desire to be of help.
And I'll kind of leave that up to Peace Corps to determine where that might be.
They are demonstrating their interest in people who may live on the other side of the globe, who may live in poverty and misery, but who, because of the presence of the Peace Corps, live in hope.
I was assigned to a small little village called Lawanette, which is just about 4 kilometers outside of Girardeau, which is the larger city. I did a couple of big tree planting projects with the schools. We distributed olive trees to all of the children. The idea behind that was some income generating for the kids and their families.
They, I think, are serving this country well. And in a very real sense, they are serving a larger cause, the cause of freedom and the cause of a peaceful world.
And there was kind of a fancier hotel in one of the cities near me, and I'd become pretty good friends with the doorman there. And he said, "What are you going to tell Americans about Moroccans when you go home?" And I said, "Well, I'm going to tell them they're some of the kindest, most hospitable people I've ever met." And he instantly started to cry. And it was in his mind, he felt that Americans viewed Moroccans and Muslims as terrorists. And so to know that I was going to go home and tell people how some of these incredibly kind, friendly people are, was really emotional for him. And then it was kind of emotional time for me too. So he's crying and then I'm crying and then, yeah, we're hugging and it just turned into a big crying mess, yeah. But it was definitely one of those stories that sticks with me.
I hope this spirit will grow, and that hundreds of others of young Americans will go overseas to show our best side, to show how much we desire to live at peace. There can be no greater service to our country, and no source of pride more real than to be a member of the Peace Corps of the United States. I hope that you will join.
In 2014, another UW, the University of Wisconsin, claimed the honor for most Peace Corps volunteers. But now we are happy to report this UW, the University of Washington, has once again claimed the #1 spot. And that's not all. There are now 7 Washington state schools listed as the top volunteer schools for the Peace Corps in 2016. Straight ahead, we step into the ring with the championship UW boxing team. And from rail to trail, an update on the Tacoma project that turned abandoned train tracks into walking and nature trails as UW 360 continues. Welcome back, everyone. Did you know that trains used to run right through the heart of the UW Tacoma campus, even in the middle of class? Austin Siedentopf reports on the history of the rail line in Tacoma and the impressive restoration efforts by UW Tacoma and the city.
In 1873, President Lincoln's vision of seeing the Pacific and Atlantic Oceans unified was completed when the terminus to the Pacific Northwest Railroad was built, and where it ended, the city of Tacoma flourished around it. 131 years later, in 2004, the tracks finally stopped running.
They took the most sophisticated steam engine they had in 1873. They calculated how steep that grade would be, what the diagonal line would look like to be able to get down to saltwater. And that diagonal, that angle that we're on today that cuts across the grid of the city is like a big frozen hand on a clock that marks the power of an 1873 steam locomotive to climb a hill.
It is to honor that time in the history of the city that UW Tacoma is leading an effort in cooperation with the city of Tacoma to restore the Prairie Line Trail and make it a public space, from rail to trail.
Most cities have a myth about where they started, and there's ambiguity about where it actually happened. In Tacoma, we know exactly where the city started. It was the building of this rail line
UW-Tacoma draws its origins to the rail line. The campus was created by repurposing the warehouses that had been built to service the tracks.
When I first started teaching here, I would be sitting in the library and a train, a full loaded train, would go right through the heart of the campus.
The city of Tacoma is following UW-Tacoma's example and has already begun renovations on other parts of the trail. The end goal being a single line that connects the water to the mountains.
Explain this space to me. Where exactly are we in relation to everything?
All right, so we're in the heart of Tacoma. The Prairie Line Trail from UWT cuts through the campus and makes a big zigzag over here with this new crosswalk, and then down to the last segment of the Prairie Line Trail down to Puget Sound.
One section of trail runs right up to a new wing at the Tacoma Art Museum, just across from campus. To tie the gallery even more closely to the northwest, the new wing was built to emulate the tradition of Native American longhouses. Parts of it also echo the history of the railroad.
Again, why sliding screens, the boxcar image, and it most importantly controls light for us. So to have a collection of Western American art at the end of the railway, at the end of the West, it just makes perfect sense.
Abraham Lincoln dreamed of a railroad to the Pacific, never saw the end of it, but probably one day, probably in the rain in December of 1873, standing between these rails, probably a contract Chinese laborer looked up from his work and saw the salt water of the Pacific Ocean and realized Lincoln's dream.
It ended here.
And he would have been standing where we are.
That's awesome.
It is awesome.
Come see the historic Prairie Line Trail, and if you feel like it, take a stroll to the Tacoma Art Museum to see a little bit more about the history of the Pacific Northwest. I'm Austin Siedentopf, and I'll see you next time.
The restored rail line has become the go-to meeting and gathering space on UW-Tacoma's campus. And with the city set to begin restoration on more of the rail line in July 2016, that trail should soon connect all the way from Point Defiance Park to Mount Rainier as part of the Tahoma to Tacoma Trail Network. Up next, the University of Washington added another national championship to its trophy case in 2016. Is it crew? Softball? Guess again. We'll hit the gym with the UW's acclaimed boxing club as UW 360 continues. Welcome back to UW 360. The University of Washington's boxing club has really made a name for itself since officially becoming a club in 2012. It's even hosted the prestigious Collegiate Boxing Championships. And as Stacy Sakamoto shows us, that success is a direct result of the incredible passion and dedication of both the boxers and their coach.
There's some of the best in the University of Washington's boxing club. Students who have made it through highly selective club tryouts and rigorous practices.
Feedback, give them some feedback.
But more than that,
and if you want to see me in the boxing ring, I box till the bell goes ding ding.
They have that intangible quality.
A little bit wild in there.
That head coach Christopher Mendez calls heart.
There you go.
Mendez boxed as a cadet at the U.S. Military Academy at West Point. He began coaching Washington's boxing club 5 years ago, trying to instill in his athletes discipline and dedication, not just to boxing, but every aspect of their lives.
Being at practice on time, being accountable, keeping their grades, trying to get that 3.4 GPA, working together as a team, the discipline to be at practice consistently. Those are all life lessons that they will learn in the real world when they get out there.
Coach will teach us how to box, but before everything else, we're a student, and he calls us a scholar athlete.
In January, the club took on some of the biggest names in collegiate boxing when it hosted the main event at the Washington Athletic Club. Among the Washington boxers, two-time All-American Richard Van Sicklen and freshman Jocelyn Robles. It was her first collegiate fight.
You're gonna do great, man.
Minutes before her fight, Robles was in tears over the recent death of a family member.
Today, you're gonna rock it, okay?
Mendez helped her focus by recalling the death of his brother years ago.
I know you've got a lot of stuff going on right now, but I believe in you.
Give her every opportunity to bow out You know, go spend time with your family. You know, take the test. She says, no, coach, I've committed. I'm going to do this. And so she went and fought and won.
Then it was Van Sicklen's turn. He faced a boxer from the Naval Academy, his coach's nemesis.
You go first! No, Jack!
He went into that third round even. He lost a round and won a round, so he needed to win that last round.
And your winner by split decision, out of the red corner, Richard Van Sicklen.
What a finish. You beat Navy, baby. You beat Navy. You beat Navy.
Van Sicklen also won the Outstanding Boxer Award, something he would never have dreamed of when he and his family were in a homeless shelter.
Honestly, I've had a hard past. I just think about my mom. I gave her a phone call before this, and you know, I might cry. But yeah, I just think about my mom, and it pumps me up a lot because she went through a lot to raise me by herself, you know, and so yeah, it means a lot. So
if a guy can go through that type of circumstance and succeed and have the level of confidence that he has now, which I know this team has given him, the guy's destined to succeed.
All right, who are we? Huskies! What are we? Boxers! What are you gonna do? Knock him out! Are you fired up? Fired up! Fired up!
We have several updates since our story first aired. Jocelyn Robles boxed at the WAC's main event again and won the Outstanding Boxer Award, the same award that Richard Van Sicklen won the year before. Van Sicklen graduated from UW and went on to box in the U.S. Olympic trials. The UW Boxing Club also hosted the National Collegiate Boxing Association Championships in April 2016, and the Husky women won the team title for the third straight year. And that does it for this edition of UW 360. If you'd like more information on any of the stories you saw today, just head to our website at uwtv.org/UW360. You'll also find us on Facebook and Twitter. I'm Carolyn Douglas. Thank you for watching. And we'll see you next time with all new stories from the University of Washington.